it gets a little bit bored, so it'll actually poke and peck away at that a little bit. This is connected to what are called jesses, which are leather straps on its legs. So it's kind of like a leash, and that way the bird isn't able to get out and fly around. No, go back there, or you
I can't see behind them.
You're the one who made a choice about where you wanted to sit earlier. And you've been moving around the room lots of times. So. Hi, how are you? Making a mess? You want to pick that up? Good. Well, the other thing he may do is he may decide to go to the bathroom. And if he does that, he lifts up his tail and he kind of leans forward and then he shoots it out behind him. But we'll see what happens. All right. So, as you can see, there are these leather pieces, those attached to his legs, and then attached to that is this leash. And where we keep him in his pen, it's called a mew, he has a perch that he's connected to. So when I go in to get him, he can't just fly around. He's not allowed to fly free. The only one of our birds that is totally free inside its pen is the eagle. This guy is hungry all the time. And so when you bring food into the pen, it flies up to grab it. So it's kind of cool to watch him as he flies. Why are you saying like that? What do you see on the floor? Now, do you notice what he's able to do there? You see how his head is locked in one place? And you can move his body around, and that is a real advantage when he is flying. So let's say he sees you, and you are food, and he's up really high, and he's flying down towards you, but you're in a forested area, and there are trees around. He doesn't want to lose track of where you are or where you're moving. So the owl is able to lock onto you, but then can move its body back and forth. You see how he's doing that? You can move his body back and forth so that he's able to stay locked on whatever it is that he's hunting for. He looks really sleepy. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I think being in the darkened room, he kind of slept because, of course, would this be the time of day he's going to sleep? Yeah, this is the time of day he's going to sleep, so he's kind of waking up right now.
He's like, oh my God, why'd you wake me up like that?
Yeah, I think that he's very much the teenager right now. This is odd. I never caught that, been working with him when he's been absolutely sound asleep, so he's looking a little weird. Are you okay? Now, do you see when he's closing his eyes, how there's that kind of bluish color sometimes as he closes his eyes? That's that special membrane, that nictitating membrane, and that gives him some extra protection if something that he grabs to eat is going to fight him. It protects his eye.
So, so when he blinks, he can still see through that.
Yeah. A little nervous? The one that scares me, or I wouldn't say scare me, the one that I have the absolute most respect for when I go in and work is the eagle, just because the eagle is such a big bird. But this one is the only one that, well, no, was it this hawk? Yeah, it was both the hawk and the eagle have, I've been touched by them, I guess you could say. The owl actually flew into my head one time. Okay, now look at my hair. Right? What color's my hair?
Gray.
Gray. And I bent down to pick up pellets that were laying on the ground. So guess what the owl probably thought he saw?
A rabbit.
A rabbit. I'm thinking more like a rabbit. He just saw a big gray thing, a big gray hairy thing. And do you see how I usually wear barrettes? That's what his feet hit. So when he landed on my head, he ran into the barrettes. And he immediately flew back up into the air and on his perch. And then he was kind of doing one of these like, which it was really funny to watch his stunt expression because I was also really kind of stunned. Now, who did something wrong, him or me?
You?
Yeah. And usually when an animal, like one of the birds, does something odd, it's because you as the handler have done something that sets the bird off. You've done something that's a problem, and the bird is just responding to your actions. So from now on, do you think I bend down when I go into the owl's pen? No. I take a shovel with me, and that's what I use to clean, is that I scoop up any pellets I find, And then they also will kind of do a number one, if you want to think in terms of bathroom stuff. Any urine, any fluids that they have that they want to get rid of their body are going to come out as white material. Because think about it, you've seen cars and things that have whitewash on them, or the TV commercials, or if you've ever seen, what one is it, Evan Almighty, where the birds are landing and they're getting all the white stuff all over them. That's just really, really concentrated urine. The water is kept in their body because this bird doesn't drink water. We have a pan of water and it's mute and it never jumps down and drinks water. Any moisture that it gets would come from the food, the blood, or sometimes this time of year, before we give them their food, we'll actually dip them in a little bit of water to make them a little bit wetter, and that way they're getting moisture that way. Then the water stays in their body, and whatever they don't need, they will poop out as this white stuff, a real white concentrated thing. So we have to clean that out, and we clean the pellets out, but I use a shovel to do that now, so that I don't have an issue with him accidentally thinking my head is a rabbit and going after my head. Reese?
What's his name?
He doesn't have a name.
Why?
Now remember, what did I say about their eyes?
They're like oranges.
They're
to us.
huge, and so what about their brain?
They don't have one very.
Well, like you can't.
There's not enough room for it.
They don't have a very big brain. And it takes a certain amount of intelligence to learn to recognize your name. Cats and dogs are smart enough that they pick up on the sounds of your name. So like we had a dog named Bandit, okay? The dog hears more of the vowel sounds than the consonant sounds. So Bandit, I could have gone and Bandit would have figured out I was saying her name. Because think about it, it's the tone of your voice more than anything else that gets an animal going. Because I mean, Bandit could come up to me and I could go, "You're such a stupid dog. You're stupid. You're a bad dog. You're a bad dog." And he's hearing the tone of my voice, which makes him think everything is,
You're playing.
yeah, oh, it's happy time. Okay? And I could have gone, "Bandit, I love you. Bandit, you're a good girl." But if I used that tone of voice, my dog would have thought,
Something's wrong.
What do you
something's wrong, I'm in trouble. I could totally change the tone of my voice for my message, and all the dog would pick up on was the tone of my voice. This bird, it doesn't matter what I say to it. There are a couple of behavior things we can do. If the bird does something I don't want it to, let's say I go to reach in, and it goes to try to grab my hand, and then what we'll do is we'll blow in its face and go, "No." And that's a behavior thing it starts to learn, oh, I'm not supposed to do that. But to give it a name is pointless because it will never come if I call it
Well,
that name.
it would be just fun to have a.
Yeah, so it's a lot of things. But it's much more of a human need that, oh, the bird must have to have a name. No, it doesn't need it, it's the owl.
I don't, like, we should make up a name.
No, because we'll never use it. It's just, some people wanted to call him Shakespeare because this kind of an owl, do you know what kind this is? It's a barred owl, meaning here on its chest area, do you see where the stripes are going up and down? They look like they're bars. Now, do you know why you would name something Shakespeare if you're talking about something that's barred?
Jail.
The word bard, B-A-R-D, refers to a storyteller. And Shakespeare was the one who wrote all of those plays. And so the town he came from was a little town called Stratford on Avon. Avon is the river. And so Shakespeare was the bard of Avon. So to call him Shakespeare is playing on the idea of a bard owl, a bard storyteller. Okay. This is just kind of odd how you're sitting hunched like that. Are you okay? Yeah.
He's staring.
Can you? He's really fascinated by something over there. He must know you're a kindred spirit. You were an owl, he was an owl. I don't know, because it's you. He's looking right over in that direction. What do you? No, he can't see through, so I'm not sure what exactly he's seeing. Now, one of the things too with this bird is that it's actually blind in its left eye.
What? How?
When it came to us, which would have been when would that have been? Beginning of August in 2005. He had been at the Raptor